All right, mate, how you doing? Welcome back to another video. Hopefully you've seen our last few videos. You'll know about this brand new set. We've got loads of cool stuff planned for the World Cup and beyond, so make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video. Today we're talking about Liverpool. Okay, I've got a bit of a theory about Liverpool recently, and more fuel has been added to that fire this week with the news that they're for sale. At least that's what everyone's reporting anyway. I've got my friend Will Brazier with me today. Are Liverpool for sale? What's actually been said? FSG, do they want out?
Well, yeah, I think we're sort of in between that phase of are they after new stakes involved or is the whole club up for sale? One clickbait rumoured title is supposed to be investing in it might be Conor McGregor. But
Wait, yeah, but Conor McGregor did some tweet saying he was going to buy Man United about 6 months ago.
Look, I'll just read the clickbait headlines and I'm down the tunnel.
No, I don't buy any of that. People, who's the other one that did that recently? It's Tyson Fury, isn't it, with Morecambe? Okay, Morecambe, a bit more achievable, a bit more affordable, but sometimes rich people just come out and want to basically flex their financial muscle and go, I could buy them, but McGregor ain't buying Liverpool, I don't think he's got that sort of money, is he?
Well, I think the rumoured value, apparently they turned down £3 billion at the start of the year, and I think they're looking for 4 to 5 billion, probably near 5 billion. But
didn't they buy the club for like 300 million?
Yeah,
they did.
And it came from Hicks and Gillette, didn't it? And that was a sorry state of affairs.
They might have taken on some risk, but that's a decent profit if they do offload it. And let's be honest, that is what these guys look at when they buy football clubs generally. I wouldn't say they're huge football or soccer fans, they're Americans. But they want 4 or 5 billion, it's big money, but you said they turned it down. Do we know who tried to buy them at the start?
I don't know who tried to buy them, but I think it was £3 billion to start with, which is, £3 billion to say no to. That's a big chunk of change.
Do you think, though, they felt at the start of the season things were better than they are? You know, they just bought Darwin Núñez. They were like, we're going to be great. We've got our new striker. And obviously it's not gone that way this season.
Well, I think it was the start of the year, wasn't it? So where are we at the start of 2022? They're doing a lot better than that, don't they? On for the quadruple.
Yeah.
So I think times were good. But they've had blips before Liverpool. They've come back for it, haven't they? When they had the season under Klopp where it didn't go so well and they've come back from that. But I actually do think it's very exciting in terms of just sort of, there's a lot of chat about Manchester City. Even
do you think they think it's unassailable? Not just this season, but generally they cannot compete with the guys that own City financially, and they're just never going to win that battle.
Well, the timing of it was almost scripted, wasn't it? Because the Monday morning Manchester City came out record profits. The commercial department's doing amazing things. Like, this is the profit we made, and then by lunchtime, Liverpool, up to some people saying it's up for sale, the whole club.
Yeah.
So
They've worded it very cleverly. They've basically said like, we would invite new shareholders. It's kind of like they made one of those little prospectuses.
Yes.
They've left it out the front and they're just trying to sort of urge it in towards people's attention, but they don't want to say, they haven't said we are for sale.
Well,
that's what other people have interpreted, I think.
The Athletic report on a full sales presentation has been produced for interested parties. So
it's as good as. It's
yeah.
as good as, yeah. Whether they want to sell 100% or whatever percentage they even own, I don't know. But they're controlling stake or a little bit, I think they're open to it. But I think they've come out and said as much as they can without saying.
Yeah, well, is there like you as a football chairman, a football owner? Is there like legal stuff around that in terms of like what you can and cannot say?
Not that I know of. I think plenty of chairmen and owners in the past have come out and said I'm for sale. Like, look at Mike Ashley at Newcastle. For years he was trying to flog it. You know, and certainly at our level, it's back of napkins, and it's just back. What do you call it? Alleyway deals after time in non-league. But obviously we expect a bit more at the top level. So for me, this does kind of play into this narrative at the moment that I see with Liverpool, which is that I think their team has come to an end. And by that I mean, think of Sir Alex at United. He had so many different teams, didn't he? It's like a 3-4 years, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, rotation of what it takes to get all the things in the right place. And Klopp certainly did that. You know, he's in his 7th year. Yeah. Probably took him 3 years, 4 years to find that sweet spot. Obviously, he brought people like Salah in. You know, he made that team around his gegenpressing formation, his rock and roll football, endless attack, don't give the opposition a breath. And it worked. It worked so well. And it took football by storm a little bit. Even though they only won the one Premier League, they've been in 3 Champions League finals. They've won one of them as well. There was the year they won the Club World Cup as well. They won all sorts of things. So it's been very successful. But teams have to be refreshed and renewed. And I think, and we all know about the Klopp 7-year itch, or whatever you want to call it. His other 2 jobs have always only been 7 years long at Mainz and at Dortmund. So he's in that will he stay or will he go category. And I wouldn't be 1,000,000% surprised if Klopp didn't see out the season. I know he said he signed a new contract, and I think he probably will stay. But I think if they just go downhill and they really deteriorate, And they're not doing that right now. I said they're sort of inconsistent.
Yeah.
They're getting good results against the good sides still.
Yeah.
But then they'll lose to Leeds. They'll lose to Nottingham Forest. You can't get where Liverpool need to get with those sorts of results. Anyway, my theory is it's all wrapped up in the fact the team needs to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard for them to rebuild it because of the contract they've put Salah on. He's going to take up, deservedly, unbelievable player, but he's going to take up a large section of their wage budget for a long time now. They obviously got Mane out, maybe for the same reason, because they knew they couldn't have them both together, the money they would need. But for me, it's all about the midfield. That midfield, the middle three, that was so important, perhaps went under the radar with their successful years of the Wijnaldum, Henderson and Fabinho partnership. For me, since Wijnaldum left, they haven't been the same. I know Mane was a huge departure, obviously huge departure, right? But I think Wijnaldum, along with his combination of how he worked, the chemistry with Henderson and Fabinho, was vital to the team. And when he's left, they've never replaced him. Thiago, world-class player, but he's not Wijnaldum. They're different. Thiago, more talented, more skillful, undeniably, but engine, work rate-wise, Wijnaldum is better, and it was better, certainly, and he made that tick. They've linked with Jude Bellingham, a player you know very well. Could he be the replacement? Could he be the person that comes in and fixes it all? I think they need more than just a midfield replacement, because I think Van Dijk is not at the height of his powers anymore. I think that's massively affected Trent, because I think Trent was allowed the attacking impetus, and his defensive frailties weren't shown up as much when they had Van Dijk just marshalling the hell out of everyone.
Yeah.
At defence, you could play with one or two centre-backs or three defenders, and Trent could be up the pitch and Robertson could be up the pitch when he was playing that well. He's not playing that well anymore. So lots of things to talk about there, but I do think Liverpool are at the end of a rotation.
Yeah.
They need a lot of new blood and players. Nunez is one of them. They've got young people like Harvey Elliott coming through, but right now I think he's sometimes stifling Salah because they drift into the same spaces as left-footed players on the right side of the pitch. And they need a reinvention. Bellingham could be perfect in many ways. Be the main man at Liverpool. He would be unbelievable in there. He could be a Wijnaldum replacement in that sense. But if the owners are about to sell up, there's no way they're going to cash out 100+ million, which is what Bellingham will cost, to get him in. It's not going to happen, is it?
Yeah, not in the interim, but that's why I think the whole thing's exciting, because sort of Liverpool maybe slipping a little bit behind Manchester City. Like this summer, I think it's a perfect case study, because for me, if they were spending 100 million...
Well, they're not just slipping behind City, they're slipping behind Arsenal. They're not even the arguably top 4 team right now. They're not going to get top 4 as things are they? They're nowhere near it. They could get it. I'm not saying they can't get it. I'm saying now...
Yeah, as it stands, I do feel they will get top 4.
They're behind Newcastle.
Yeah, they are.
The difficulty is when you look at the squads on paper, Newcastle's squad still doesn't look like a top 4 squad.
No.
But it's playing like one.
Well, and that comes... But that's what Jurgen Klopp's always done now, hasn't he? Like you speak about Wijnaldum and even like the likes of Andy Robb. The players that have come in, he's coached and got them better, which I do sort of is fallen by the wayside a little bit. But with this investment, like they had £100 million to spend in the summer, and they spent that on Nunez, when we've probably said for the last 2 seasons that midfield needs strengthening, and they didn't do that. And you probably could have got Jude for 100 million in the summer.
Oh, yeah, I think you would have. But do you think they felt the pressure because they knew Haaland was going to City? We need to match them. We need a big striker. They knew they're losing Mane. Nunez was available, albeit expensive. And they kind of, not quite the same, but I do think it was definitely what happened with Ronaldo at United. They were worried about him going to City. In hindsight, they should have let him go to City because it would have maybe made Haaland available and City wouldn't have had both of them.
Yeah.
But I do think that Liverpool need a big reinvention. And if FSG have lost interest, so my theory up until this week was always that Liverpool come to the end of a rotation. They're not going to win anything anytime soon. Of course, they could win an FA Cup or maybe even a Champions League. Cup football is suited to them right now, but they ain't going to win a league anytime soon with the players they've got. I believe they need to replace and use their they're not paying City money, but the money they'll be paying the likes of the Van Dijks and the Salahs, they might need to redistribute that in other areas, even though they're still top performers. I'm not saying they're not. The team, the way Klopp plays, it's more than maybe any other system, requires everyone to play a part and do a certain job. And even you could be a world-class player. If you're not doing that particular task, the team has to change. The formation has to change. I don't think Klopp's prepared to do that. So my theory up until this was end of a rotation. They need a reinvention, maybe even a new manager. I love Klopp, by the way. Big Klopp fan.
Big Klopp.
But has he got the same hunger? Has he got the patience to reinvent the team and do that? Or does he want a new challenge? Does he want a break? All these things were playing on my mind. And I didn't believe it was over for them. I just believed it was going to be a bit of time. Of time for them to get back to what they did a few years ago. But with the FSG news coming out, knowing the investment that will be required to bring their team back to the top of the Premier League and to the top of European football, I can't see it happening under them. There's no way they're going to invest if they want out, mate. If you're selling a business, you stop expenditure.
Yeah, I know, but it depends how long the sale's going to take as well. Like these things will take time, but if this can happen in the next couple of months, we're talking about the end of the season. Like, if the money that they're talking about is true, like, this puts Liverpool in the category of, like, they could go after Kylian Mbappe.
It's true, and if you look at the Chelsea example last season, they sold pretty quickly. Realistically, in the sort of hindsight of it, they got a new owner in for big money. In the billions he paid to take on Chelsea. So yes, you're right. If that owner is out there and he comes in, of course, a lot of what I'm saying it remains true about the squad, but then that new owner will come and invest. And yes, Liverpool are still big enough for Paul, big enough for brand, big enough for fan base to go and get an Mbappe, a Bellingham, whoever. You're going to be competing with a lot of other clubs, Real Madrid, maybe even Newcastle soon enough, the way they're going.
Yeah.
Obviously City as well, but it is still possible. But I feel like the next few years are really key for Liverpool, because if they just fall back into, we're not talking like a bad position, but like just become a top 4 team and that's it, then other clubs are going to take that spot. And then, trust me, it seems crazy, but Arsenal are only a league title away from being like what they used to be and attracting big players.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then players will want to go to Arsenal. The question will just be whether Arsenal want to pay that sort of money, which traditionally they haven't really liked to do.
But that's why I think it's, because if they can get this all wrapped up by the end of the season or before that, and then, say this is all wrapped up by March and they get the money that they're expecting, and if you're paying that money, you're going to invest that sort of money as well. And then it just, it probably goes back to a 2-horse race then, if Manchester City and Liverpool have got that amount of money, and then they can go after. If you're buying the club and you're coming in with this money and you are a new owner, you want to gonna make some like statement signings as well. So I almost think it could reinvigorate Klopp, reinvigorate the side, and what they've done with it, the renovation of Anfield, the new training ground, it's all set just to be taken to this next level. So I'd be very excited if I was Klopp, a fan, and for the Premier League.
So you're seeing that the FSG saying we want to sell as almost a positive for the club. If you're, neither of us are Liverpool fans, obviously, but if you were, you wouldn't necessarily be like worried. You'd be excited.
I'd be worried in the terms of who's going to come in, because it's sort of like damned if you do and damned if you don't.
And FSG, how much do FSG care about the legacy of who's coming in? Do they just want a price? You've met my price, cool, good luck, see you later. Or are they're businessmen. They're businessmen.
They are businessmen, and I feel like everything, we just spoke about with the stadium and the training ground are good stuff. They brought the Premier League title to Liverpool, but ultimately, this is ownership that signed up for the Super League as well.
And that is ultimately why they're selling, I do believe. They are selling, really, because they can't get in the Super League. And it's a very American enterprise. I still believe something like the Super League is going to happen at some point, but I think it's going to be watered down. I think it's going to have a promotion and relegation aspect to it, but it will happen eventually. But the plans clearly haven't come through enough to give FSG the belief they should stick around, and ultimately they have turned a 300 million investment into billions if they sell. So if their plan may have been to keep hold of Liverpool for a long time, or it might have been to sell once they were in the Super League or whatever. But it's not happened. They're still going to make a lot of money on a sale if they do the sale. I don't think it is as simple as, I think City are slightly ahead of Liverpool in terms of the constant the rebirth of their team. Like, they buy younger players more often. Liverpool have got a great academy, obviously. They bought through Trent, people like that. If I look at their team, I think 5 years ahead from now, excuse me, I see Nunez.
Yeah.
I see Trent, who he has his critics, but I think will still be a huge part of the club. I see. I don't know. 5 years from now? I don't know.
Well, this is a separate discussion, but I do feel like players are going on longer just because of medical science. Of
course. I mean, look at Thiago Silva.
Yeah.
Van Dijk could do that. I don't see Jordan Henderson lasting that long. I don't see Thiago lasting that long. Harvey Elliott, obviously, is a good young player, but Firmino's going to be on the way out. They've got Jota, they've got Diaz, they've got a few, but that spine of that.
Yeah.
That league-winning team, it was Van Dijk, Alisson, the wing-backs, the full-backs, all of the middle three for me.
That was like one thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then it was definitely Salah and Mane, but you could argue Firmino is an important part of that as well.
Yeah.
I think they've got to just reinvent that. I think they found a secret sauce when they linked those guys together.
Yeah.
Because none of them were world beaters when they brought them in. They brought Mane from Southampton, Firmino from Germany, and I can't remember what club he was at. Was it Stuttgart, Leverkusen? I'm not sure. And obviously Salah from Roma. And no one would have said they're a world-class player when they came in, but they had potential to be, and it just worked. It's a great recruitment.
Yeah.
They haven't got that man anymore. They help recruit those players.
Well, that's the thing, and I think that's really evident with, like, it just... to me, it still feels like the money should have been spent. I'm not saying Jude Bellingham, but that money should have been spent in midfield and try and keep. I don't know if it was possible to try and keep Mane for an extra season and sort of keep that three cooking, not as cooking as they had been, but invest in that midfield, because that's what City do. Like you said, every year identify the problem. We've known it's been a striker for ages, even before Aguero had his problems. Got the best striker in the world. Yeah. Even like the Calvin Phillips thing, like Rodri's, he's pushing Rodri, but having Calvin Phillips as backup for that is amazing still.
Well, they had I think a year left on Mane's contract, but obviously that would have meant him probably leaving on a free. They wanted to get the 20-30 million odd they got from Bayern. So I can see the
But do you think that happens if you say they've got billionaire owners now, like which is possible by the end of the next season? Do you think like they almost cut their losses with a Mane situation next time?
Well, if you've got the money, I think certainly. I think that you've got to also take into consideration player welfare. So Mane giving them a lot, and I think he probably did push that move a little bit. I don't judge him for that. I think he just wanted a new challenge, right? And I know he's, from what I've heard, he's loving life in Germany. So yes, you can keep players at the end of their contract, but you're going to get the best version of Mane if he's not.
He's waiting for the next move,
downing tools, whatever. I'm not saying you do that, but there's a lot of different moving parts there. But either way, this is a significant development for Liverpool. You have to let us know what you guys think. Oh, I've gone to your camera. So I'm still working this out. Hello. You have to let us know what you guys think with regards to Liverpool. I'm sure some of you will be Liverpool fans in the comments. What do you think about my theory about the team and the squad? Does it need to be rebuilt and reinvented? Is Jude Bellingham the answer to all of Liverpool's problems? Will they get Jude Bellingham? Is his first choice destination going to be Anfield, or is he looking to Spain and Real Madrid or somewhere else perhaps? And then finally, what do you make of the FSG news as a Liverpool fan? Would you be happy to see them go? Are you FSG out? And who do you want to come in? And would you take Arab money? That's a big question. It's a big question because, and it's not just Arabs, by the way, Saudi Arabia, it's other places as well. It's a big news story right now. Newcastle are never really going to get away from that. But there's no denying in football senses that money has come in and made them unbelievably better. And if there is investment from that part of the world interested in Liverpool, would you guys be interested in it? You don't need it as much as Newcastle did. That's one thing I'd say on that. Newcastle wanted to go from an area down here in the league table to up here. Liverpool are already and will always be around that area. That's my take on it. We can talk about that more another time. But drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for lots more videos coming soon. I'll see you on the next one. Don't go changing.